Sam says gaslighting. Here's the thing, and we need to go back a little bit further. I want to go back to Ten Hag's second year, which is last season. The issue is along the way, and I think this is where you started with Hassan when you mentioned Ten Hag and all that. Along the way, it is very easy to say, "Oh, it's not good" when things don't become good. My issue is, and that's the part that Hassan is speaking about United fans and the gaslighting and that. There's multiple times where I came on this platform and I spoke about players that we are signing that I didn't think were good enough. And I was told, stop showing your backside, stop being negative, stop being this. And when I say me, it's not just me. There's a majority of the fan base that agreed with me on these opinions. People only decided to agree with us once it became obvious, once it became evidential. I was on this platform, and you'll remember this, Terry, and KJ will remember this. The first time I ever said anything bad about Ten Hag was the minute he was insisting with Mason Mount. And I knew right away, and KJ will remember this vividly. I said, this is red flag number one. And that was after the season we finished third. I didn't wait to see one bad game to know that we were moving the wrong direction. The issue is, I can call out that. I can call out the signing of Casemiro. I can call out the signing of Højlund. I can call out multiple signings before they all got proven to be bad, before the football got proven to be bad. I was Ten Hag out before a lot of people were Ten Hag out. It is easy to become Ten Hag out when it was obvious. This is why when Hassan sits here and says we overrate, and he says United fans overrate their players, overrate their decision, overrate this, overrate that. It's because there's people that sat here like me called it out when I was sitting here and saying Garnacho's not half the player Sancho is, and I got told to stop sucking off Sancho and this and that. Look at us now. He's playing for a team that's comfortably sitting in the top four, and this guy can't get a fucking minute on the pitch. And when he does, he stinks it out. He hasn't had a goal in about 6 games. This is what I'm saying. People sit here and they call it out after it happens, Terry, and that's the gaslighting you're talking about.
So, look, I think there's some truth to the gaslighting element. What I would say, I can't speak for what all other Man United fans say. A lot of the people that did that about the squad you mentioned, Hassam, are also the same people that said we win the league with Ollie's squad. They've been wrong. A lot of the analysis about Man United is so surface level. Around sack manager, we get better. Sell this player, we get better. So I don't really want to have a 20-minute conversation on the football terrace about whether those opinions are right or wrong. I want your opinions on the situation because I just do. Your opinion is more valuable to me than some half-cut bloke on Lads Bible. Like, it's fun, but I want your opinion on Man United. I was pressed. I am pressed because I will always admit to the things I've got wrong. I will never sit here and have things said about me that are not true. Before we move on from Man United, because we've got a lot to get through, Nobbins, what was your take? The audience want to hear from you.
Sorry. It's not really related to what was being discussed. Sort of is. I just like on the conversation of like, is the squad good enough? Who's to blame? Ineos, Amrim, whatever. I think it basically boils down to how much do you actually believe in Amrim and specifically his system. So you can't really have you can't really evaluate the quality of this squad within the current framework. So, for example, I predicted Newcastle to beat United 2-0 yesterday, or whenever it was yesterday, simply because whatever midfield United were going to put out, whatever midfield they could put out, was always going to get run through by Newcastle's midfield, just because they have one of the best, most physical midfields in the league. Casemiro and Eriksen were never going to be able to deal with them. He's playing Dalot out at left wing back. There's no width out there because you need a left-footed player out there. In order for Amram's system to work, as I understand it anyway, the centre backs need to be mobile enough and willing to step out and help the two central midfielders. If you looked at that game against Newcastle, it was basically you had the back five all pinned back, and then the two in midfield, Casemiro and Eriksen, trying to take down the entire Newcastle midfield, which is physically impossible. In order for that to succeed, you would need like Declan Rice in that midfield. You would need Caicedo in that midfield. You would need someone like, Mateus Nunes, formerly of Sporting, someone like that would work. This is why I assume they brought in Ugarte. So it depends what your starting point is. If your starting point is Amrim is the right guy, and I believe in the system, then I don't think it's fair to judge the last few games on him. If you think that the system, by definition, is rubbish and can't fundamentally work in the Premier League, then that's another matter altogether. And then you can question the stubbornness. You can question, was it wise to just have Eriksen and Casemiro to deal with the entire Newcastle midfield? So that's how I would interpret that. And it totally depends on what is your starting point of your faith in Amarim's and his system. That's all I want to say.
I think on a football level, that's absolutely spot on. It's, you know, I'm not really putting a lot of the blame on him. I thought he made a mistake yesterday picking that sort of core midfield three, including Xerxes. There wasn't enough mobility in it, and we become a much better team. We had 10 shots to their 1 after that change. And we probably, listen, they could have gone 3-0 up, to be fair. But if you look at the game in chronological order, we really should have got a goal back and maybe equalised if you actually watch the football match. And there's a lot of things to be addressed. That's where the original question on this show came from today, is a lot of fans are saying that Amorim needs to abandon his style. And this is where I am looking at Ineos. And if they make certain mistakes by making the manager abandon his style, which I don't think he'll do, I think he'd quit if they asked him to do that. If we don't buy the players that make this work, if we don't sort of stick with this for a prolonged period of time, then I'm going to be against them as I was the Glazers, because our biggest problem is we've never stuck anything through. And whatever I don't really care what style of football we pick. And I get what Staffy was saying about Garnacho versus Sancho. And all. For me, I'll be honest, and this isn't a dig at you, Staffy, so please don't take it that way. All that conversation, I'm just done with. We all get some predictions right. We all get some predictions wrong. We all rate this player. And then, you know, someone in the comments said, Terry, you thought Højlund was a good signing. I did when we signed him. I watched quite a lot of him, was impressed. By the way, a lot of people thought Xerxes was going to be a good deal. And a lot of people did. When you sign certain players, you think, well, I've watched them play there. I've read this about them. I've seen them do this. I'm excited about what they can bring. I think after the fact, we all get some right, we all get some wrong. What the real focus now should be is what's right for the club going forward. And I just don't want us to make the same mistakes we've made the previous 5 times. And the mistakes would be making a manager abandon his principle and or not buying the profiles of player that make that work. That's the one thing we haven't done in 11 years. We've done the opposite. So what I'm really fucked off about with Man United fans, and listen, the Xerxes treatment, I agree, wrong. But beyond all of that is we're now asking for the opposite from Ineos and Amorim that we were screaming at Woodward and the Glazers and the other managers not to do. I'm fucking lost. And that's because there's no patience. That for me
I
would
know
be...
you want to move on.
Yeah.
I'll leave it with this. Ten Hag told us, I think it was last season, maybe the season before. I think it was last season. He told us he can't get these players to play the style of football that he wants. Mind you, he signed about 75% of them. Manager comes in Amorim and he says, no, I will play the way that I want. Both these managers were losing anyways, but one of them wants to stick to his principle and build something, and the other guy just tried to shoehorn for 2 years. Paper over the crack for 2 years. Which one are you supporting? I don't care for Ten Hag. This guy at least is standing on business. So if both of them can't get these players to play their style of play, at least one of them wants to stay on it. The other one abandoned it. So I'm going for the one that didn't abandon it.
I completely agree, which is why I'm looking at the board more than the manager, because it's all of our clubs. Your board are the ones who dictate whether that continuity exists. They're the most important element, and without them, it doesn't matter what Amorim does; it's going to fall apart. So, yeah, look, we all get things right, we all get things wrong, and a few people comment, Terry, you only want to move on subjects when you're wrong. Well, no, I told the guys before we actually spent probably 25 minutes longer on this than we expected to backstage, and yeah, I don't feel like I'm wrong. So, cheers. Thank you. Some super chats here. Happy New Year from Perth. Oh, yes, it's already New Year to you. So Happy New Year. Come on, you gooners. Go Dan P. How is he being scapegoated? He's been poor. But so has the rest of the team. But everyone's saying that Josh doesn't deserve that call. Yet if it was Garnacho, you would have said nothing. Keep the same energy. Yeah, look, I do feel there's an element of truth to that as well, because I think some people that are angry Xerxes got booed. If Garnacho had been booed yesterday, it'd be a different group of people angry. And that's what happens at Man United a lot, to be fair. I weren't a big fan of it, to be fair. Damn you, Nobbins, always the voice of reason within the football fan bantering quagmire.
I can do the banter as well, but there was enough of that going on for that discussion, so...
Staffy is spot on. Clapping a player off the pitch is shameful. Dan, paying for a service, whether a meal or a game ticket, doesn't give you a pass to be unkind or disrespectful.
Clapping a player off is shameful. Well, that's the news to me. I do that.
It was ironic. It was ironic jeers. They were celebrating that he got subbed off. It's not like
it's just...
I didn't listen. If they would have just booed the whole team, I'm for it. I think when the
I
team
did
completely
one-
becomes bad,
one
yeah,
thing-
boo the
I
shit
think the
out
whole
of
team did get booed at half time, didn't it?
Yeah, they did. And look, what I will say, a friend of mine that still goes to games, who's a season ticket holder, I messaged him. I hope you're doing well if you're watching, bro. And I said, "Did you jeer?" And he said, "Yes." He said, "But the group that he was in, this again, I can't speak for the whole stadium, and this is why I think it's wrong to label everybody wrong to label a whole 75,000 people. Their group sort of jeered because they were actually annoyed it took so long for a change to be made because everybody
That's
could see the
what I
hole in
mean,
the
Terry.
midfield.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Are they booing Xerxes or are they booing the situation at Man United? We don't know. They're not going boo to Joshua Xerxes. Were they pointing at him, kissing him, saying get off? Or were they actually just boo because this is a mess at Manchester United right now?
I've seen other videos.
That's what I know. I didn't watch the whole game. I just saw the incident.
I've seen other videos where you can hear some booing as well. So I look at these things sometimes. I think you're getting a mixture here. Like I said, I agree. I think definitely some people would be motivated by race because there are racists out there. You can't deny it. Do I think everybody did it for that reason? No, I don't, because I've got friends that were there that sort of did it for different reasons. I've had conversations with them. So I do think, though, you've got a right to show dissatisfaction to your team.
Absolutely. That's my point.
I agree with that.
Point.
Thank you, Luke. Super chat. Terry, calm down, control your emotions. Let's enjoy the show. Oh, I'm rattled.
Football's a game of emotions, though.
It is. And listen, I'm not going to listen. These gentlemen here, I'd call all these guys friends. I'd have a meal or a beer with them. Sometimes we rattle each other. It's the way it goes. I'm telling you, no one here is going to come off and be backstage going, Terry, you were so out of order because you got angry. Just a bunch of friends having a conversation. I wouldn't worry about it. Terry, you've been saying Bruno is better than Odegaard and Maddison for years. Listen, when I haven't said Bruno is better than Odegaard for a long time because Odegaard has gone to a level that Bruno's not at. I still stand by this. I wouldn't swap Bruno for Maddison. I still think Bruno's a better football player. Maddison's better on the eye, but the lack of output from this Maddison brother, I wouldn't take him. I wouldn't. Again, so I wouldn't do it. And Bruno at his best when I was propping him up is clear of what Maddison has done on a football pitch, in my personal opinion. The whole platform is an abusive relationship with Hussam. That's because he's a fraud. Again, that's a joke, ladies and gentlemen. It's not meant. So if you get upset by it, touch grass. Amarim loses games and wins press conferences. But did you see what the media did to him today, though? The Sky Sports put a headline up saying it's embarrassing to be the Man United manager, when what he actually said, it's embarrassing to be the Man United manager when we lose this amount of games. But they cut the final few words out. And this is why, though, I will say to Man United fans, be angry, but understand that rivals and the media are not our friends in this. And they're doing everything they can to make this situation harder.
You still loving these drip, though? You and Staffy, you still loving the drip? Yeah,
I ain't heard nothing
about
drip
codes and vibes and all this. Let's go.
Keep enjoying it, boys. This ain't lasting forever. We are going to be back. And then you can all cry.
You've been saying that for 12 years.
Listen, all I'm going to say is if you're going to lose in fashion. That's all.
That's another lie there, Sam. I've said until we change what we do at board level, we won't ever be back. So let's not lie about what I've said here, my friend. Sam is right. United fans are the most delusional. On the Man Them Talk on Saeed TV, Ranson Saeed said Man United squad was better than Arsenal's. No, they didn't. You're lying. There's no way they said that. There's no chance.
Rance actually did say it. Yeah,
Rance said that to me as well.
I think you're all lying. Rance is my guy. He would never say that.
He said that. He said that to me as well, Terry, bro.
Bullshit. Rance didn't say that. No way Rance said that. I can't believe it.
This, bro.
I don't believe it. Don't believe it.
Rance did say
that.
They're lying about you. I've got your back.
Maybe it wasn't talking about football. Maybe it's just better at another activity or something. Because clearly it can't be better at football.
I'm back in rant.
They eat more. Look at Casemiro. No.
United is a decade behind. Why isn't mentality and personality baked into their decision making? It should be. It absolutely should be. It's a knock-on effect, isn't it? I think it isn't just one thing or the other, and I think that's what's important, Mohammed. United fans delusional. If R. Kelly was the manager, you'd still back him for a process. Fair enough. Who do you support? I'd love to know who you support, my friend. I'm sorry if someone is playing shit and is paid £66 to watch the game. I have a right to give out my frustrations as long as it doesn't go over the top.
Don't be selective. That's all I said.
Facts.
I said don't be selective.
But
why can you not understand that as a fan base?
But this is what I would say, though, Sam. But when you're saying don't be selective, I'm not defending yesterday's actions, but you're not selective because you don't have the same energy for the players that you rate versus the ones that you don't. We're all like that. We all
Ooh
do
la
that.
la.
What does that
We all
even
do
mean?
that.
I'm not at the game booing anyone.
Yeah,
Fight.
but you would boo Garnacho if you were there, wouldn't you? And you
I'm
might
not
not.
gonna lie, I don't
And you
know.
might,
well.
and I'll give you an example. Ahmad yesterday took 3 shots when there's a crowd of players in front of him when he should have passed the ball. Wrong. And I called him out for it. If Rashford did that, I know you'd be angrier because you like Ahmad more. And that's fair. That's natural. It's normal. We
And
all
if
do it.
Garnacho did that, they would, Garnacho's
Hold
a
on.
scrub, but Ahmad is the next Messi.
No, stop doing
Whatever
this.
they
See,
said.
now you're gaslighting me.
No,
The-
but
the-
you gaslighted an entire stadium, Staffy. So you
I'm
talk about
gaslighting the stadium.
the most.
You know how many times? Hold on,
They
hold
all
on. Because
booed
now
him because-
you're starting to annoy me again. How many times did Hoyland drop a stinker in that same stadium and he got subbed off, and not once did I hear him get booed? And he's been here longer.
I agree. No, I agree. I agree. Listen,
That's what
I
I'm
agree
saying.
with
You're
you.
being
But then
selective.
I agree
Terry
with
just
you.
said the reason they booed him. Well, the sections were booing him because of the substitution, and it didn't come soon. That happens a lot of the time. We boo the manager's substitutions. You're not necessarily booing a player.
Listen, the
but
pattern
you're
is
not
there.
in the
bro.
crowd.
You
So
don't-
it's
you don't
hard to
believe
say.
this,
I don't disagree with a lot of what Staffy has said. I just think when it comes to people having have the same energy, I think we're being disingenuous when we say that sometimes because we don't have the same energy. You know, it's. I saw Ches in the group chat. I saw this man support in Clear Lake through thick and thin when everyone said it was going wrong. Yet he has the opposite energy towards Man United rebuild because he doesn't love the club. It's different. I get it. Rance calls Salah a stat merchant. He can say anything. No, I don't say that either. I think you're all lying about Rance. I'm sorry if someone is playing. Sorry, I already done that.